There's always just that active and that defending. I think it's like. There's always just that active and that defending. I think it's like. There's always just that active and that defending. I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on. And with an introduction like that, what more can I say? People deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. I hope you're doing well and safe on this Monday afternoon. On that, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night, whether you're on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, wherever you are in this world. If you're on YouTube, do me a favor, smash the like button, regardless of whatever platform you're on. Please make sure you're commenting any thoughts, opinions, differences of opinions, all of that good stuff. Football, the beautiful thing about football, I always say, is it's subjective, and the world would be a boring place if we all thought the same. So yeah, welcome all thoughts, people. I hope you're doing well and safe. I'm basically hearing out of one ear, man. I bought this. I don't know what the hell's going on with my ear, but yeah, man, it's like I'm only hearing outside of my left ear, but the show must continue. Big up yourself, my dude. Man said, brother, just let us have Andre, please. I've gone through too much of this with Caicedo and Lavia. In my opinion, and again, at 5 p.m, a video will drop on the man in question in Andre. I've kind of done a more in-depth kind of short video for you lot. I've dropped the link there. So in terms of the nitty-gritty, I'd offer my opinions there. But I personally think he's going Liverpool for what it's worth. I think you lot have done the groundwork in the summer. Again, you know, football is a weird game, because at one point you would have thought Mudryk ended up at Arsenal. Where did he go? You would have thought Cody Gakpo ended up at Manchester United. Where did he go? And there's been many other twists and turns that are not exclusive to us or Liverpool. I definitely sympathize with you, because Enzo Fernandez, Tchouameni, Caicedo, Lavia, you've been with that. I think you're going to get him purely because I think you've done the groundwork in the summer. I think, you know, Klopp or whoever is in charge at Liverpool have to be in constant contact. Obviously, it's going to cost a lot of money, and the more clubs that are interested in him, the better. But I think you lot have done everything. But for us, obviously, Edu's Brazilian. Emerging markets are where we need to be hitting up. I would like another number 6 and number 8. It all depends on Andre, because I think they're two massive clubs. You know, Liverpool's magical, Arsenal's magical. In terms of playing more on a regular basis, you look at Arsenal, you've got Partey, you've got Jorginho, who plays a bit of a different sort of 6 role. Technically, not that Andre would be scared, but you've got Elneny, and of course, you've got Declan Rice. If you look at Liverpool, it seems like, you know, there's a ready-made spot for you, filling the void that fellow countryman Fabinho left. You know, McAllister's probably been playing as a 6. You know, Gravenberch can do that. Szoboszlai, in theory, could do that, but you don't want him there. He's better further forward. It seems like there's a spot for him, really and truly. So I think you're going to get him, man. I've been told that we have a gentleman's agreement with both Andre and Fluminense for the move in January, but I might be wrong, bro. Enzo wasn't a thing. We never went in with him or bidded. Fair enough. In relation to the gentleman's bid, there you have it. And I guess you're just hoping that he honors that. But unfortunately, in football or in life or in business, unless it's, you know, I's are dotted, T's are crossed, and things are, you know, confirmed on paper and there's a legally binding agreement, gentlemen's agreements mean nothing. How many times, more so them lot down the road, how many players have been set to sign for Spurs and they've jetted off? Williams one, Petit's another one, and many others, people. So yeah, if you're on YouTube, smash the like button. Send McAllister back to Brighton. Bit harsh, really and truly. I think he's doing all right. You lot, I'm not going to say he hasn't played deeper in midfield before, because he has, but definitely since, you know, he's become this household name in the Premier League, Liverpool probably have been playing a lot deeper than you would be. And that's the only thing, in my opinion, that could calm Liverpool, in that you've got a good squad. I think you're in a title challenge, but obviously you don't have the biggest squad. And to be fair, when you won the champs, when you won the Prem, you didn't have a big squad, but you don't have the biggest of squads, and you don't have a number 6, really and truly. You think he's mid? Bit harsh, man. Obviously, respectfully to Brighton, doing wavy stuff at Brighton and doing wavy things at Liverpool elsewhere is another thing. But allow him, man. To be fair with you, obviously football is football. Whatever, you know, if I just say some random coaches, Jose, Wenger, Conte, you know, three very different managers, but fundamentally you need to defend goals coming in your net and you need to put balls in the back of your own net. So football is the same, but give the man a chance. You know, it's a different, you know, training regime. It's a different club. It's a different sort of thing. Obviously, a lot of Liverpool players need a bit of gelling in, really. I don't know about this Andre guy. How good is he? I like him a lot. The only glaring things I could say, sometimes he dilly-dallies on the ball. Obviously, he's only 5'7", and it's reflected in statistically. He's not going to win too many aerial duels and things like that. But other than that, I think his passing could be a bit more expansive, but he's got a decent passing range, got a big engine. You look at the heat map, all of this is covered in the video coming out at 5 p.m. He gets all up and down the place. Sometimes I think he can pick up one booking too many. Obviously, if he signed for Liverpool or Arsenal, he's in the Premier League and there'll be harsh lessons. But at 23 years of age, I think personally there's a solid grounding in him, really and truly. And I like him a lot. I don't know him religiously, but I like him, man. Now we're one player off competing for the title. City and Arsenal are both better at the moment. Andre is a baller, already making the Brazil national team at 22 years of age with Fluminense. 2 caps to his name, so you're bang on the money. And again, you know, regardless of what club you support, you've probably seen it. You know, it costs an arm and a leg to buy players, so it can help to go into to emerging markets of such. Saying that, Fluminense, if you hear Arsenal, Liverpool, he's actually been linked with Benfica, Dortmund, Ajax. When you hear all these European clubs, boy, you're going to want top money in it. Now, obviously, what clubs in England and what clubs are going to pay in the other top 5 divisions are completely different things, man. Yeah, his discipline is questionable. For me, he's like Thiago, but better defensively. He's a decent player. There's similarities, in my opinion, with Bruno Guimaraes and loosely Jorginho, but he's very much a different player, man, really. So, yeah, let's get into everything. As you can see, Tab Police look away. We're probably going to go all the way till there. Again, shameless promotion. If you don't promote yourself in this life, then who will? But, yeah, like I said, at 3 p.m., a video at 3 p.m., I'm lying to you, like at 5 p.m., a video is coming out from myself, touching a bit more in-depth specifically on the man in question. But, yeah, keep your thoughts coming. Arsenal Gunners now want monster play ahead of Liverpool. As I said, I think Liverpool are going to win the race for that. If Arsenal want to compete for silverware once more, then January could be a crucial turning point, especially if they beat Liverpool to the signature of their midfield target. The latest Andre Trindade, I can't pronounce it, forgive me. Transfer news relayed by This Is Anfield has claimed that the Gunners are interested in signing the midfielder. According to reports, Arsenal sporting director Edu Gaspar has even visited the Fluminense training ground, which has only added fuel to the fire. Now, there's a couple of things with that. Typically, when a player is close to signing for a team, like maybe Liverpool, you start hearing other teams are interested and they're going to try and gazump Arsenal or Liverpool too. So Edu could have been at the ground. You know, I would have loved for him to have a conversation about the player in question, but it is the international break. He's back in his homeland and he is the sporting director. Now, obviously, sporting directors, your primary job is to find players for the first team and all the other stuff that comes with it. But it's also about developing relationships and partnerships and all of that other jazz. So it's not exactly 2 + 2 = 4 necessarily in relation to Edu's visit, coincidentally, back in his homeland with Fluminense, who the man in question plays for. But I'd love to be wrong, of course, people. The official reason for the visit was to learn about Fluminense's youth development process and to continue the strong partnership between the clubs. The fact that Andre is a Fluminense player makes Edu's visit all the more interesting. However, especially given the recent reports, the Serie A season in Brazil ends in December, potentially allowing Andre to make a January departure from his current side, which is true. And did you not hear that was one of the alleged primary reasons as to why they didn't want to let him go? Apparently, despite Fluminense sitting frustratingly 6th in Serie A, Andre has still left many impressed with his performances, doing enough to earn his first 2 caps for the Brazilian national team. And has he not played under, is it Diniz, who's now the Brazil manager, but I'm sure is or was at one point the Fluminense gaffer, who earned a reputation for his tactics. Now, if you're going to play under Jurgen Klopp or Mikel Arteta, you've got to be able to retain information and implement what they want on the training from the training ground on the pitch. So that's also something really and truly. Apparently, interceptions per 90 minutes. He scores higher than Kai Havertz and Fabio Vieira. Not really the fairest of comparison because Kai Havertz and Fabio Vieira, they're all centre mids, of course, but three very different players. Andre's, you know, I'm pretty sure, again, if there's a sample size that allows, Fabio Vieira and maybe even Kai Havertz probably score a bit higher in certain attacking metrics. And they're 3 different sorts of players. You know, they really and truly, they probably should have put Thomas Partey or Declan Rice or Elneny if he even has a sample size, really. But he scores higher than the 2 men in question for interceptions per 90, for progressive passes, and also for take-ons completed. Fluminense didn't want to sell Andre because of the Copa Libertadores. He had a €40 million release clause, but you can probably get him for half that in January. So So there you have it. I legit think if you put Rodri or Declan Rice in our midfield, we'll win the league this season. But once again, left short. Bruno Gomes is a very good comparison. And you know what? The last time we missed out on Bruno Gomes, I was very disappointed, people. So yeah, man. And he's earning a lot of credits. And apparently a journalist has said pressure and playing with the confidence of someone who knows they're different. Get out of the way and make the team work. Andre is the best midfielder in the country and is a monster of a player, really. So there you have it. Who is Andre, the Brazilian wonder kid linked with Arsenal and Liverpool transfer, people? He's 22 years of age. He's a central midfielder. Obviously was born in Brazil, people. He's a defensive midfielder, often playing as Fluminense's number 6 in a double pivot. His play style is somewhat similar to Arsenal's Thomas Partey, comfortable receiving the ball the half turn. Like Partey, Andre is a capable passer, but is also happy to progress the ball with his dribbling. I'd more say ball carrying, even though they're the same thing. For instance, you know, Declan Rice compared to, I don't know, Odegaard, you know, Declan Rice can carry a ball. It's not exactly dribbling, but we all know it is the same thing. People, smash the like button. Let me know your thoughts. Like Partey, Andre is a capable passer, but is also happy to progress the ball with his dribbling. A hugely important asset against the press. The Fluminense starlet boasts some impressive in possession numbers, averaging 5.95 progressive passes and 1.49 successful take-ons per 90 minutes. His defensive numbers are also solid, registering 1.2 tackles and 1.3 interceptions in the league, according to Who Scored, people. In recent years, Casemiro has been a top 1 player in his position in Europe, playing in the best competitions. So it's been a period of learning. I'm trying to learn a lot from him, from his movements, from his marking, as he's the player who most resembles me. So he sees comparisons with Casemiro, which is music to Arsenal fans, and I'm sure Liverpool fans. Case 2 midfielders, 1 striker. I'd go with that. I'd love a number 8. I would love another 8. I'd love a 6. I'd like a striker. I wouldn't mind another winger. I would love another winger, and I would like. For Arsenal, I kind of see it now with all the games we've played. If you could get another defensive body that's a bit like Timber, a bit like Tomiyasu, that can play in a couple of positions. Andre is on his way to Anfield. I already booked his flight and the Uber will be at the airport when he lands. Fair enough, lad. Big up Marcel, because you're always here. Apparently, the president of Fluminense has said, the chief executive of Liverpool contacted me directly and I replied to him, my friend, I don't sell a player now. I don't deliver now. If you want to buy now to take in January, we can start talking. If you want to wait until December, then we talk in December. So he's quite specific there, really and truly. Saying this firsthand, we didn't receive a proposal for him, only surveys for Andre. So maybe Liverpool have been doing their due diligence and seeing what the groundwork would take to buy someone versus actually bidding in other clubs as well, really. So only surveys. We chose not to sell him because we believed that we would reach the final stages of the Libertadores. So sporting decision as well. And maybe they weren't provided with an offer that's far too good for them to turn down. Because if you did, maybe a bit of overpaying for all clubs, they would have, you know, money talks in this life, innit? They would have had to let man move. It's as simple as that. So we'll have to see. It was a decision made with sporting criteria, he said, people. Once again, Arsenal are poised to rival Liverpool for the signing of highly rated Fluminense midfielder Andre Trindade. So yeah, man, I think by now we've already seen all of that, people. Apparently, whoever Ferreira is, Thiago Ferreira, a journalist in Brazil, claims the Gunners are prepared to battle it out for the 22-year-old who is considered to be one of the best young players in South America. Once again, he operates primarily as a defensive midfielder. Despite being a youngster, he's already vastly experienced. He has over 150 first-team appearances to his name for Fluminense and earned his first cap this year, people. He's got 2 caps to his name. It is believed there's a release clause embedded in the midfielder's contract at Fluminense, though it is yet unclear what the number it's set at. So maybe Liverpool or Arsenal want to get him cheaper than that, which for business, it makes sense. It's been claimed elsewhere that Andre is valued at around 30 million, a price which Arsenal sporting director Edu is willing to match. If it comes down to it, I think he picks Liverpool purely because not that Arsenal couldn't sell him a good project. He's got bare Brazilians here. We're doing exciting things, but I think Liverpool's a magical club. Klopp and that, obviously, they've probably been chatting to him for a while, as I said. And when you look at Arsenal's team and his team and Liverpool's team, Klopp's team, it just seems like you can fit Slight in. What I have liked is that in recent weeks, we've been linked with Zubimendi. Again, being linked and actually buying someone is a completely different thing. But we've been linked with, obviously, Andre, Zubimendi, Douglas Luiz, which we're going to get onto. So maybe a midfielder is on the agenda for not just Liverpool, but Arsenal as well in January. I don't think we're going to buy a striker, maybe a lesser-known profile. I don't think we're going to spend what Brentford probably want for Ivan Toney. I think that's a summer thing. And I believe kind of the same where Pedro Neto's concerned. So, yeah, once again, Arsenal and Liverpool continue to scout him. Obviously, he came close to joining Liverpool in the summer. Allegedly, Arsenal officials have been in Brazil for talks with Fluminense about Andre. Liverpool, meanwhile, have been told by the club sporting director that they would entertain bids in the region of 34 million in January. So we'll have to watch that one. Apparently, Arsenal are interested in him and are willing to battle it out. And apparently, we're also interested in 17-year-old forward Ilas Kailas, you know, I can't say his name, but again, until he turns 18, he couldn't sign for Arsenal. I want to see that, you know, buy these emerging players. I don't know nothing about this, Don. I'll do my research after. I'm sure you lot know a lot more than me, man. How much do you rate Andre? I like him. I'm not a religious knower of the guy, but from what I've seen out of 10, I give him a strong 7 or 8 with scope to be a lot better, really. And obviously, if you've got Declan Rice in his best years, if you bring in Andre, you've got 2 players that are in their best years. You look at Partey, your best years are in front of you. He's contracted until 2025. I don't know if and when Arsenal will extend this contract or look to move him on in the summer. There was rumblings last summer, really. I do think if we could get a certain midfielder, there's that to be said. Obviously, Jorginho isn't getting any younger, and he's a valued member of the squad, but he doesn't play week in, week out. There's certain games like when we beat City where he can be utilised. But yeah, Partey, Elneny and Jorginho, they're not going to be here long term, really. Lokonga, he's meaty. So yeah, if he was good, then his age profile makes him perfect. But if we could have Declan Rice, another 6 with age in front, the best years in front of them, another number 8, then I think we're cooking. If you're going for DMs, then does this mean Arteta's long-term plan is to use Rice as a box-to-box? Yes and no. I think you want the option to have 2 6s, a lone 6, or maybe Declan Rice plays a lot more expansive. In recent weeks, you've seen Declan Rice probably playing his more organic West Ham role as a 6. Early on in the season, he was kind of learning and getting to grips with playing as an 8. So I'd say a bit of both, really and truly, if I'm completely honest with you, bro. But great question, and keep them coming, man. Not just you, but everybody tuned in. Again, you lot make the platform what it is. So yeah, let's carry on moving. Once again, Edu was spotted, you know, at Fluminense's training ground. Probably a lot of that is, you know, building bonds and all of that sort of stuff. So you can't draw too many conclusions, but it would be good. Fabrizio Romano has said, Arsenal have been monitoring Pedro Neto for some time. And I can also say that Arsenal always keep monitoring the same players they like, logically speaking. That's what every club should be doing. Aston Villa's midfielder, Douglas Luiz, remains one of them. He's always been appreciated. I mean, you signed a new contract at Aston Villa. It seems like they're going to want way too much for you. But if Arsenal do want him and they do like him and they do have an appreciation, why not, really? But I would like someone that kind of upgrades our starting 11, if that kind of makes sense. I don't know if Douglas Luiz does that. If Arteta believes he can, fair enough, really. I don't know why I've got our recent results, but it does look bloody good, don't it, folks? Really, you know, we lost the lens, but we beat City and we live to fight another day in half the other games. We've also been linked with Monaco's Fofana. You may have seen social media mention Monaco's Youssouf Fofana as an Arsenal target this evening. This is very much true and was discussed way back in Balogun talks in the summer. It's one to watch on a pre-contract to join next summer should it happen. So I assume with that his contract is running down, people. So I have to see. It's for any move does not hinder the contract talks of Thomas Partey. Arsenal simply want to protect a value on the Ghanaian. So there could be contract talks over Partey, but as we know, there's a lot of stuff. Any international watch-alongs in the pipeline, DG? Pause. I'm probably going to do England, Italy tomorrow, if I'm honest with you. And then fortunately, we're over that and it's Arsenal. Do you know what? Saturday, I might attempt to do Liverpool, Everton. I'm sure Brighton's got a decent game. I'm not sure who Brighton are playing, but I'm sure Brighton's got a little decent game there. And then obviously Arsenal in the evening. So I think we'll clean up, really. In fact, let me actually look at that. I'm sure Brighton got someone half decent. What's the date on the weekend? 21st. I'm sure Saturday's a decent day for football. Obviously, Arsenal got Chelsea. Liverpool, Everton, as I said. Brighton City at 3 p.m. Mate, you know, I think we could do that, you know. Yeah, that should be a decent game. I know Brighton aren't exactly doing amazing, but yeah, big up yourself, Kay and George. Appreciate you lot tuned in. Carrying on, moving the theme. We've been linked with Arthur Vermeeren, who, again, can play as a defensive midfielder, is playing in the Champions League, has been a regular the last, let's call it 12, 18 months now, playing in Belgium. He's actually been called up because of Trossard's injury into the Belgian squad, and I like him. I think he's got a good passing range. I think his footballing intelligence is very good as well, man. And again, you can see why Arsenal, Bayern Munich, Dortmund, Juventus, and a bunch of other clubs have been linked with him. Barcelona heavily on the case. City, as you can see, and the chance to learn under Pep Guardiola could be something far too good to turn down. But allegedly, City, Arsenal, Spurs have all been in contact with Royal Antwerp over the 18-year-old midfielder, people. He's been a revelation over the past 12 months, as he said. He's a young defensive midfielder. So indirectly, I know Andre's got a couple of years on him, but they fit the profile of midfielders with their best years, quote unquote, in front of them. 90 Minute understands Man City, Arsenal and Tottenham have each made inquiries to Antwerp about Vermeeren, who has a contract until 2026 after signing a new one last season, the day after he turned 18. That was protecting his value and probably increasing the contract length. But the Premier League trio are not alone in showing interest. Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund and Juventus are all keeping watch, meaning he has at least half a dozen of Europe's biggest clubs keeping an eye on his progress. Again, monitoring someone doesn't mean you're going to move for them. It just means being sure, you know, the more you watch someone, the more you know about their strengths and weaknesses, obviously how they can tie into your team, really. That young Argentina left back, Valentine Barco, us and Brighton have been linked, looks good. Every link I see with him seems to be he's going to Manchester City. Big up DG. If Edu signs Andre, he better come with Alexander too. You're moving, man. That was kind of funny. But yeah, moving on with that. Arsenal apparently still looking to sign Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins may have signed a new contract with Aston Villa, but that doesn't seem to have put Arsenal off their pursuit of the England forward. We know Arsenal would probably want a striker in the summer. We've been linked with Ollie Watkins for a minute. Obviously signed a new deal, which harms stuff. Was he better than Lokonga when we signed? He's better than Lokonga, really. I think Lokonga, as much as it's clearly an ability thing why you're not playing, I think it's an attitude thing. And I don't mean attitude like Graham Souness about Paul Pogba. It's just you don't seem balanced. Like you seem like you get overruled. And I don't think you, what's the word, man? That you don't impose yourself on a football field. And I feel Lokonga's problem is, I think you're a 6 in an Arsenal team, but you ain't got defensive awareness to really be a 6. So I think at present, you're probably an 8. I'm sorry, but I'm an Arsenal man. I've seen brilliant midfielders play for my football club. I can't sit here and tell you Lokonga is an 8. And off the ball is whatever in it. It's sad because he went Luton, where respectfully, you know, if you're going on loan at Luton, your best, you know, your days at not Arsenal are numbered. The only thing that could save you is probably excelling in a Luton shirt. Unfortunately, he's picked up an injury. It was announced earlier this month that Watkins has penned new terms with the Villains until 2028 during an exciting time for an Emirates squad. Reports out of Spain reckons Arsenal will still move in January for England's most recent match winner. Now, again, you're probably more likely to sign Ivan Toney because they've given him a new contract, which strengthens their hand. He's in decent form. It's a Euros year. Obviously, moving to a bigger club can boost your Euro chances, but it can also harm you. There's something to be said for stability, really and truly, if I'm honest with you. So maybe it's a summer move, and is a striker the most vital position Arsenal need to sign in January? I would think on one hand, yes, because, you know, obviously strikers score goals. You turn some draws into victories. You turn some defeats into draws, more points on the board. But you could make a case for central midfield, for wide areas where Saka plays. Maybe depending on Timber's progress with his injury for another defensive aspect. You are aware Fulham are winning the race for Andre, right? Haha, there was an article that came out in September about him. The team's asking price is 20 million, but wanted to sell him in Jan. Well, if Fulham are leading the race, it all depends where you read. Liverpool, Arsenal, Fulham. Again, the only benefits are Fluminense. You know, again, I'm not an in the know. I'm going to have to take your word for it. It'll be great for Fulham if they get him, really. So, yeah. While I would want a new striker, I think that's a summer thing for us, because how much are they going to ask for Ollie Watkins? We all know in football, you can ask whatever you want for players now. How much is Ollie Watkins going to be worth? You know, we all know the striker market is on the floor. How much is he going to be worth? Because if I'm Aston Villa, I'm regardless of if I think Ivan Toney's better or worse, how much is Ivan Toney's asking price? How much did this striker go for and that striker? And I can't see us doing that, if I'm honest with you, especially because, as you know, in the summer, you know, I'm sure the scouts for Arsenal are probably looking at other strikers that we don't know about. And I'm sure just there's more wiggle room, really. DG, you heard about the Osman saga, apparently got his sister kidnapped. Bloody hell, no, I haven't, but I hope not. I'm a bit skeptical of him. Seri had hype, was wanted by Chelsea, Barca and others, came to Fulham, was awful. Now he's playing for Hull. But it shows you what things could be done. So, yeah, we've been linked with him. Apparently, Arsenal could raise some funds by selling Emil Smith-Rowe to Newcastle, people. As you know, Smith-Rowe isn't playing. Apparently, the Magpies, not unreasonably, would prefer a loan deal initially, but Arsenal are likely to want a guarantee of some form that would receive a hefty fee. I would want him to stay until the summer, but I wouldn't be against Smith-Rowe going on loan, reminding the world how good he is. And then if there isn't an obligation to buy, if his days at Arsenal are really numbered, in the summer you can go for silly money. Obviously, Newcastle are a bit affected by FFP. Allegedly, we are as well. And we might have to sell someone in January, really. I'm sure we covered that in a previous vid. Once again, Romano has said we're still monitoring Douglas Luiz. We've been linked with Ollie Watkins and Pedro Neto. News won't go away. We all know in the 2022 summer transfer window, we tried to sign Douglas Luiz. Long story short, it didn't happen. That's another player, Aston Villa, who has signed a new contract, and at 25 years of age is a relative key player for them. Apparently, we're still looking at Pedro Neto. As you know, he's been one of the players in the most form in the Premier League, has 5 assists and a goal in 8 Premier League appearances, people. Romano has said we've been tracking his progress for some time. It's nice to see he's gone over his injury, people. So, yeah, another one. All of these players are going to cost a lot of money, really and truly. Smith-Rowe has to bang Gooner. Lee can't be right about it. Amen. Big him up. Arsenal need Chelsea's accountants. Yeah, her husband was his agent before he went Napoli and owed him money. Bloody hell. Boy, That's a mad thing. Thoughts are with anyone, really. Zubimendi is reportedly Mikel Arteta's chosen one to join Declan Rice and Odegaard in Arsenal's new look midfield. We've been linked with Zubimendi last January. Didn't happen in the summer for his links with Arsenal and Barcelona. He stayed put. I can't imagine him leaving a year in January where Sociedad are, you know, fighting for things. If you activate his release clause, that's one thing, but the player's got to want to make the move. So this is probably a someone. You lot know I'm a big fan of him, people. As it says here, we were heavily linked with him last January. Then we had to end up signing Jorginho. Apparently now Arteta is convinced the 24-year-old is the perfect fit for the side. Barcelona are also keen. Xavi talks him up all the time. He has a 60 million euro release clause, which is about 50 odd. So there you have it. I personally think we need a midfielder, but fair enough. For Fabrizio Romano has said Arsenal are more than confident to get a new deal done and sealed for Benjamin White. Negotiations are ongoing since August, September, as reported earlier. White is happy at Arsenal as club want his new contract sealed after Odegaard signed last month. I've been very happy with Benjamin White, and at 26 years of age, hopefully it continues once again. And every day that comes past, Smith Rowe is linked with a new club. Yesterday, it was probably West Ham and Aston Villa. Today, it's Newcastle United, people. And we've already gone over the Ollie Watkins thing. We've gone over that. We've gone over that. Tab police look away. Again, we've gone over that. We've been linked with Danny Almo once again, and he has a £52 million release clause, but he's been also linked with Real Madrid, Barca, City, Man City, Chelsea, and Atletico Madrid, people. So make of that what you will. We have been linked with young Fiorentina fullback Kayonde, and Fiorentina are looking to tie him down after Arsenal interest. I think he's contracted until 2025. Fiorentina are preparing a new contract that will triple Michael Kayonde's salary to starve off interest from Arsenal and Bundesliga clubs. The 19-year-old plays primarily as a right back, but can also work on the left. So his versatility must be something that's alerted us, as well as him only turning 19. And he has been increasingly used by coach Vincenzo Italiano following the season-ending ligament injury for Dodo. Having spent time in Juventus and Fiorentina's youth academies, he turned 19 in July and has 7 appearances this term before Fiorentina, in the Serie A and obviously Conference League, and he's got 1 assist. His performances have attracted interest from Arsenal and several teams in Germany. So there you have it. Naturally speaking, they're going to go and do that, people, really. I'm surprised you haven't done a stream on the fight of the century, the Battle of Britain, mayhem in Manchester, the hugging contest between KSI and Tommy Fumbles. I mean, I watched it really and truly. The boxing thing's getting a bit mad, really. You know, if I was a boxing fan, I'd feel like the sport is at an all-time low. Big up yourself, American Gooner. As he said, bring him to the carpet. So, yeah, that's that. What else is that? Again, Arsenal are interested in this Fiorentina fullback. What we got here? This is in relation to Partey's injury. Apparently, Chris Hughton has eased concerns about Thomas Partey potentially picking up an injury. Thomas Partey was always only going to play 45 minutes. He's been out injured for 3 to 4 weeks. He came back for Arsenal last midweek, was sat on the subs bench for 1 game, played 20 minutes for the next game, so we knew he was only going to play 45 minutes. And also, you would have seen Simon Murphy, Arsenal's physio, is out in Ghana with him, people. So there you have it. Apparently, this fullback can do amazing things. I was amazed by Kayonde's strength. He's an impressive boy. A player of this caliber hasn't been seen in Florence for some time. He should be locked down immediately. He's a player who eats up the pitch, and I'm seeing him do amazing things. I mean, that's music to my ears as an Arsenal fan. Elneny said, I cried when Arsenal asked me to stay. I want to finish my career here. Big up, Elneny, because I like you, and I like the fact that you like the club. But I ain't really got time for the sub-story thing. I mean, for your role, I'm not actually against Elneny staying or leaving. I think there's a role for you here, but I don't want contracts being given for sympathy. And really and truly, I do want the midfield revamped. I want Thomas Partey. I want Declan Rice. And I would love at least 4 legitimate options, 2 6s and 2 8s that are of a certain caliber. Like what Jorginho does off the field, like the certain games that Jorginho's deployed in. But he's not a man that you can bet on for 38 games. On ability, you can with Partey. With injuries is another thing. Declan Rice, you evidently can. You've got Kai Havertz, Fabio Vieira, Smith Rowe, all them unorganic 8s. I'm all for that as well, but I think we need some genuine options in the pivot behind Martin Odegaard. It was one of the happiest days in my life. The way they spoke to me, the way the entire club was happy about this decision, they made me cry this day. Arsenal Football Club, they know I love them 100% so much. They know I don't want to leave. I want to stay and finish my career there 100%. At 31, you'd imagine you got a couple of years left, man. You might have to go Saudi and make some money, my guy, really. But if Arteta wants you to stay, fair enough. I was injured and my contract was finishing and I could not play anymore last season. They came straight away after I got injured the next day and said, Mo, what sort of contract will it have to be? We love you here and we want you to stay. Really, this club is great. Big him up, people. And as we know, he started doing his coaching stuff as well. I'm thinking about football all the time because I know we have had older players before who have finished their careers and they don't know what to do after. It is much better to think now because then when you finish, you can have something already built. I'm keen to see how many players start becoming coaches, you know, the ones that Arteta's been, because I think Xhaka will. Rob Holding's done his coaching badges. Jorginho's doing his coaching badges. Elneny, I'm not saying they're going to be amazing, but yeah, you look at Jose, you look at Ferguson, you look at Wenger, you know, Pep Guardiola will have a few, you know, really and truly. Look at all of their players now turning coaches. The idea started from that because we want to stay in England, but I cannot just stay in England without work. I cannot just stay at home doing nothing. That's why I was thinking about what business can I do. I cannot open restaurants because my passion is football from day one. And yeah, he's got his UEFA B license as well. I've told so many people and they're laughing at me because when I say I want to play in the Premier League one day, they just say, how? The Premier League is the best league in the world and you want to get there from zero. What does that mean? Some people just don't get the idea, but for me, I love to dream. That is why I need good people around me. Of course, it could take, I think this means coaching. It could take 15 years, 20 years, but we have the target where we want to be. Or is he talking about his football club? Mo, where do you want to play? I was playing for a club in the middle of the table in Egypt, but I said to him, I want to play at the Nou Camp in Barcelona. And then you scored, you know, you have to thank God. Dreams are amazing. I swear to God, he just walked off the pitch and didn't continue the interview with me. No, thank you. No, goodbye. No, anything. He just walked off. If you don't dream big in football, you won't get anywhere. If you dream big, at least you're going to be close. This is what I really believe. I love to dream. What am I going to lose? Amen. I want to finish my career when I'm 37 or 36. Now you're 31. Respectfully, Elneny, I don't think ending your career is going to work out. So I still have 5 or 6 years left to go. I'm working really hard, always trying to get back into the first 11 for Arsenal. For sure, it's my goal this year. I know I'm coming back from a long injury, and this is what I'm doing in training, fighting to come back and be in the starting 11. That's why I'm giving 100% every day to show I'm ready to play. And when I get the chance to play, I have to show I can still be there and give everything to this club. Big him up, man. Real maturity from him. Balogun spoken once again about why he left the club. I've gone over this before, but for some of you that haven't seen this, it wasn't something that made me feel anxious. It was just more of a case of seeing what needed to be done. It was out of my hands. I mean, it could have been out of your hands, but there's always, the player has got to want to leave. And I don't begrudge you for leaving, but they can't exactly sell you if you don't want to go. They can tell you're not going to play first team football. Let's be honest. You was probably told by Arteta that he likes you, but there's Elneny, man said Elneny, there's Nketiah, Jesus, Havertz, actually, Trossard, and them strikers ahead of you. I do think there was probably pressure from Arteta from above to say, listen, we just spent X amount on Declan Rice. You wanted 60 odd on Havertz, Timber 30 odd. You know, we need to bring back some money into this club. And there isn't too many Arsenal players, at least the players that we want to keep, that we want to sell, because the ones we want to keep will make big money. But the players we want to sell, they're not going to really bring money. I'd hardly say Tierney, for as much as I rate him, was flooded with offers. You know, Smith Rowe, potentially another one. Balogun's an appreciating asset because of what he did in France. So I do think it was above board. I think it was a mixture. And I also think Balogun, I think Balogun would love to try cut his teeth at the club. You're seeing your friends, the Highlanders, playing the first team. But at the end of the day, if Arteta's moving wishy-washy, you got to do what you got to do to play first team football. And football's like a drug for a young player. Once you've been exposed to playing in high pressure moments, sharing the pitch with stars and just feeling important in a first team environment, which wouldn't necessarily be the case for Arsenal, and getting a run of games, I can't begrudge you for wanting to keep it moving. Only God knows if Balogun will return to Arsenal, go elsewhere in the Prem, or if he'll excel or not. But, you know, at the end of the day, he played, maybe 10 appearances for Arsenal, barely played 90 minutes. You've made 30+ million on the guy. That's a success story. Not everyone is going to make it at Highland, even though I would have loved for him to be given a fair chance or more of a chance. But Arteta's probably seen enough, really. And his loan backed up because you didn't get a chance at Arsenal, but it put you into the shop window, smashed the like button. That's what I felt. It wasn't something I could control. The only thing I could do was just turn up to train and work hard. So I did that. And then after training, I enjoyed being back in London. I saw my friends, caught up with my family. And yeah, I wasn't really too bothered. He then went on to say, in terms of Arteta, he didn't really say much. He just said, when I came back, he just said, well done. And he encouraged me to keep going. Then me coming back in pre-season, it was just more about me seeing whether I fit into his plans and seeing if I can continue to play some games. He said that he would try to get me involved as best as he could. But of course, he also told me that the people higher up were making decisions on me. There you have it. And seeing what would be best for me. So the conversations between me and him were good, but it was more about the club and what they wanted to do. There you have it. And to be fair, if Arteta really wanted you to stay, he would have forced the club hand and said, listen, we need him for the first team. But It is what it is. Rob Holding names 2 former Arsenal teammates he's trying to emulate at Crystal Palace. Do your thing over them sides, man. He's better than Cannavaro. I've got a lot of experience. I mean, to be fair, yeah, when you deep it, yeah, from a lifestyle point of view, you're learning under Roy Hodgson. You're playing in Crystal Palace, which is a good club, a well-supported club. I couldn't imagine you have to move too far from whether he's living already at Arsenal or the commute is just a bit longer. But from a sporting point of view, you've got Gurhey ahead of you, at least until Gurhey's sold for big money. And you've got Josh and Anderson the same. Them man are playing ahead of you week in, week out. And Palace, obviously, they're out of a cup now. Did they not lose to Man United? The FA Cup comes around, but didn't really make sense, really, if I'm honest with you. But they have stability. I look at Luton. You might have played all the time at Luton. It might have been peak for you. I've got a lot of experience, 28 years old now. They've got quite a young team at Palace. They've got some young lads coming through. Any little things that I picked up from my time at Arsenal, when I first stepped into the change rooms, you had the likes of Mertesacker and Koscielny. They're just leaders. If I can take any bits that I got from them and pass them on to the lads that are a bit younger at Palace now, then I can do that. Fair enough, really. Apparently, the average age is 27, so fair enough. Fair enough, Rob Holding. He's only played one game so far, which they lost 3-0 against Manchester United, which could have been great for him because did he not grow up as a Manchester United fan growing up? If you didn't know already, Bukayo Saka has been voted Player of the Month for September, and also our November's league visit to Brentford away has been rearranged. People, it's been handed a new kickoff time. It's gone from 3 p.m. to 5:30. Oh, evening fixture away at Brentford. It's not for the faint-hearted now, is it? But yeah, with that being said, that appears to be everything that we've gone over in terms of that. Smash the like button if you haven't. Big up yourself, Dermot, as well. Elneny, when you leave, if you have the next salary in Egypt, send them Arsenal's way. Amen. Croydon, Rob Holding. You lot are funny, man. But yeah, man, let's see if there's anything else in terms of Arsenal on Google. If not, I'll let you lot get out of here. And don't forget, people, we're going to do a watch-along for England tomorrow. On the weekend, we're doing hella watch-alongs. Chelsea, Arsenal for definite. Probably going to watch Man City, Brighton together. And we'll probably watch the Merseyside derby, even though that's probably the most overrated derby in the Premier League, man. I always do watch-alongs with you lot, and it's always dead. But you never know. Liverpool might be in for a surprise. Everton might surprise them. 5 p.m. again, in relation to Mr. Andre that we've been spoken about. I've done a bit more of an in-depth video for you lot there, people. So yeah, make sure you check that out as well, man. So yeah, but with that, there's no point me wasting your time, people. So I might as well let you lot get out of it. Check out the rest of the video. Smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't. Most importantly, stay blessed, stay safe. Hope you and your loved ones are in great health. And we'll link up again soon, man. Safe.
There's always just that active and that defending. I think it's like